state would call Nikki Lester, first victim impact.
Ms. Iwanski?
No, Miss Lester.
Okay, come on forward, please.
I'm sorry, Judge. Do you want the podium facing you, Judge, or?
Up at the witness stand.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, raise your right hand and be sworn in, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
Swear, man.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Guyette Nicole Lester.
Oh, one moment,
I'm sorry.
one moment.
I'm so sorry.
Before you start, you're out for the record, defense renews, it's the same objection.
Yeah, same rulings will stand.
May I continue, Judge?
Yes.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi.
And if you can just talk really loud, can you just tell us, introduce yourself, spell your last name if you don't mind, ma'am?
Last name, my name is Guyette Nicole Lester. Last name, Luster.
And your first name is a little more challenging too. Do you mind spelling that?
Yes, my first name is Guyette, Guyette.
Can you tell us how you were related to Laquetta Gunther?
I am her oldest daughter.
Did you prepare a statement you'd like to read to the jury, ma'am?
Yes, I did.
Okay. If you can. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Well, again, my name is Guyette Nicole Lester. Nikki is what my family call me. I am here.
Make sure you read slowly so they can understand what you're saying, okay?
I'll start over. Again, my name is Guyette Nicole Lester. Nikki is what my family call me. I am here on behalf of my mother, Laquetta Gunther. I felt a duty to my mother to be here today in person to testify before this court that my mother meant something to many people, and she was loved. I'm about to turn 41 in March. My mother was only 45 when she was taken from us in 2005. It's become very real to me just how young she still was. She had so much more life to live, love to give, and self-growth to achieve. My children and siblings have lost out on the chance to grow old with my mother. I have struggled these past 16 years for closure in many ways. The what ifs and what could have beens either keep me up at night or haunt my dreams. My mom mattered. I still feel connected to my mother even in her death. How can I not? She's my mom. As a mother myself, I believe in mother's intuition and spirit. I've gone through my own adult hardships since her death, and she's still a voice in my head telling me to be stronger and do better. My very first memories are of my mother's infectious laugh and beauty. She wouldn't hesitate to get down on my toddler level and play with me. I remember riding in the back of her yellow station wagon as she took me and my siblings to McDonald's. I couldn't have been older than 3. But there will be no more memories made now, just old memories to try and feel closer to her on some level. The death of my mother has had a butterfly effect on my whole family, but I feel like it's especially taken its toll on my little sister. She feels everything so deeply that losing my mom has sent her on her own inward journey. I have brought a picture that I'd like everyone to remember my mother.
I believe there's no objection to the state's pay for the penalty phase.
Okay, will be admitted as evidence.
You're opposed to the witness, Judge?
You may do so.
If you can hold it up, honestly,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
very shaky. This is my beautiful mother. Thank you for your time in hearing my statement today, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Thank you.
Anything, defense? Any questions?
Nothing from the attention, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may step down. Be careful coming down there.
Thank you.
Okay. State, next witness.
Yes, the state would call Vicki Schwartz to read a statement for Barbara Rurack.
Okay? She need not be sworn. She's just reading a statement, correct?
That is correct, sir, yes.
My daughter was killed on
Hold
Xmas
on.
Eve.
You need to understand, she is reading a statement of someone else. She is not the person who wrote the statement. Go ahead.
My daughter was killed on Xmas Eve, 2005. We have not been able to have Xmas since then. No one should have to die the way she did. I loved my daughter very much, and she loved me. She had 3 brothers who never stopped looking for the person who did this. She had friends and children who loved her. This is something you never get over. It is a lifetime sentence for the family. Thank you for reading this to the court. Barbara Rurack.
Thank you, ma'am.
And for the sake of a record, who was Barbara Rurack?
It was the mother of Ms. Gunther.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Judge, the next witness or victim is actually on Zoom. It is
Okay.
Ms. Iwanski. She's going to attempt to read her statement, Judge. If she's unable to, I'll have Ms. Schwartz come and finish that for her.
All right, Ms. Iwanski, can you hear us? Ms. Iwanski,
Ms. Iwanski, can you hear us? Ms. Iwanski, can you hear us? If you can you unmute?
I have sent 2 messages. One is to unmute, the other one is to turn the video on.
Judge, if we can, we'll move past Ms. Iwanski and we'll come back to her. I'll have someone reach out to her by phone. So if I could call up Dr. Aneesah Farris, please.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh.
I think she might have unmuted now. Ms. Iwanski, can you hear us?
She did unmute.
Ms. Iwanski? Judge, I'll run that down. If I can have Dr. Aneesah Farris, please.
Okay.
I think she just spoke.
Wait, she's on.
She's on now, Your Honor.
Yes.
Hi, Ms. Iwanski. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you okay? I'll have you introduce yourself. Are you okay reading the statement? And if you need a break, just let us know, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
So if you don't mind, could you please
Wait,
raise...
we need a sworn. Ms. Iwanski, this is Judge Zambrano. Could you please raise your right hand and be sworn, please?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
So,
Thank you. You may
I did.
proceed.
are you okay?
Good morning, ma'am. Before you start, could you just introduce yourself and spell your last name, please?
Hi, my name is Rhonda Iwanski. I am Julie Green's sister. My last name is Iwanski.
Ma'am, did you prepare a statement you'd like to read about your sister?
I did, but if I would like to add one or ask a question. The 2 last paragraphs, I don't feel like I have a closure to this statement.
Ma'am, just.
I-
I know. I just.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't. So it feels a little very incomplete to me. That's all I would like to say.
Yes, ma'am. If you could just go ahead and read your statement.
Your Honor, before she reads it, I renew my existing.
Okay, same rule.
To understand how this crime affected myself and my family, it is important to know a little history about the 3 sisters. There were 3 sisters. Rhonda, Terry, and Julie. We were all 7 years apart in age, me, Rhonda, being the oldest, Terry in the middle, and Julie the youngest. I went to live with my grandparents when I was 4 years old and was given all the good opportunities in life that they could provide. Terry and Julie lived with our mother and did not have the same advantages I did. Growing up, my grandmother made sure I visited my mother and Terry and Julie on a regular basis. Our mother married Doug Green in the early to mid-1970s. My mother died January 5th, 1980 from cancer. In the early 1980s, Doug Green adopted Julie. After a series of events, Terry and Julie were in and out of foster homes in and around Daytona Beach. They had a hard life from a very early age. Terry found her way in life. She married and was comfortable. Julie ran away at the age of 12 and wasn't heard from again until she was 15 years old and asked if she could come home. She was currently living in Tennessee. I sent her a bus ticket back to Jacksonville, and she lived with me there for a while. It was obvious she had been living a high-risk lifestyle, but she was only 15, and I hoped that maybe with a stable home life, she might come around, but that wasn't meant to be. On Saturday, January 7th, 2006, I contacted my stepfather, Doug Green, to tell him that Terry had cancer and we could lose her at any time. I asked Doug if he would consider letting Terry be buried in the plot he had next to my mother's. He said he needed time to think about it, but would call me the following week. Doug Green called me the following Saturday, January 14th, and said he had made all the arrangements with the funeral home and I could bury Terry next to my mother. The next morning, Sunday, January 15th, I called about 7 a.m. and said, "I'm sorry, I have more bad news." He said he had been contacted by the Daytona Beach Police Department that Julie had been murdered, shot in the head, and now we would need that cemetery plot for Julie. I remember letting out a cry, hanging up on my stepfather, and my husband and daughter rushing into the foyer to see what was wrong. I couldn't speak. Hearing Julie was just murdered and knowing Terry was dying was just too much. I was able to compose myself and call my stepfather back for more information and to support him. I promised I would be on the next flight to Daytona and see him by the end of the day. My daughter Brittany went with me. Yes, Julie did have a high-risk lifestyle, but no matter what lifestyle she lived, she did not deserve to be murdered. This crime took away the one sister that I should still have left. We weren't close like Terry and I were, but I was still here as she needed me. This crime took me on many trips to Daytona. I was away from my job. I was not home with my family. I had no interest in spending time with family get-togethers, going out for social fun, and the list goes on. I am still affected by this today. It's like a part of me died with Julie's violent death and then the passing about a month later of my sister Terry. Did this crime affect my family? Well, you bet it did. This crime brought all of our lives as we know it to a grinding halt. The way I was feeling emotionally affected everyone around me, including my immediate family, friends, and co-workers. This crime against Julie was all I could think about. It is still in my head every single day. And here we are, 15 years later, I still feel the need to share this story with someone. And after I do, I immediately wish I had them. Doug Green, Julie's adoptive father, passed away on December 29, 2018. Julie's death had such an impact on him, we could never move forward. He could never move forward. He spent his time trying to get information on who may have murdered her. Julie's death left me and my family with partial financial responsibility for funeral arrangements. This tragic event also resulted in me and my daughter, her husband, having to travel multiple times. Travel to Florida multiple times, which required thousands of dollars in travel expenses. Shortly after this, we found ourselves in a somewhat similar financial situation when my sister Terry passed, and less than 2 months after. Neither Julie or Terry had life insurance policies.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you reading it, okay? Thank you very much.
Can I read it?
No, that's where we have to end it, okay?
That other part wasn't worked out.
Okay, it should have been, yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes. Okay, any questions, Mr. Anderson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, can we excuse her from the proceeding?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Iwanski, thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.
Okay, we need to take, you have one more?
Yes, just one more, Judge. It'll probably take about 15 minutes total.
Okay,
You want to take a break first?
I do, actually. Let's take I know you guys started late, but we've been working since 8 o'clock this morning. So we'll go ahead and take our 15-minute recess this morning. Remind you, don't talk about the case with anyone while on the break. If they want to go out for a smoke or anything, Bill, you let them out, okay? And I ask any member of the audience that you do not approach the jurors.
His camera's looking right over.
Yeah, I got it.
No, your camera. Your camera, Judge.
They're all off now. Okay, the jury's out. We'll be in recess 15 minutes.
Your Honor, the plan, the attorneys have worked out. I hope agree what we do is call pretty much lay witnesses today, the lay position witnesses.
Okay.